You're watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. Stories from the pioneers of skateboarding about the history and the fun of the sport we love.
Again, welcome to the show. This is the 57th show that we've done in 4 or 5 years, and glad to get Chuck on here as the one of the like grandfathers or old statesmen of skating in Florida. Also, especially with sponsorship, West Coast sponsorship, and all kinds of stuff. So we want to thank him for coming, and then apologize because I don't think this is you, Chuck, but we labeled it as such. Can you see my screen? It's Big O.
Yeah. Let me see. That's Big O.
Yeah, let's take a look at. I know we have you later in this little clip. It's only a couple, a minute and a half. So if nothing else for you guys out there, this was it. Where was Big O? What city was it in California?
It's the city of Orange, California. Then this is the capsule. This is the capsule pool where they had the Hester Series contest in, where Fulmer was the first person. Fulmer was the first person to do the panel jump there, and frontside pull in.
That's not
me though.
No. Okay.
No.
He's way more stylish.
I wouldn't have had that helmet.
Exactly.
Right. It'd be some.
I would have had a Jay Adams helmet then. I would have worn a Jay Adams helmet then, probably.
So this is going to be the build up to the best footage we have of you, Chuck. It's not skating, but it is skateboard related. Does anybody recognize this scene?
I know that scene.
Looks like Tampa or Gainesville. Is that when we caught that kid stealing the skateboard?
He got it. He got it.
Here we are. So
I remember that.
So this guy was stealing one skateboard at a time and putting it in a car that you could see through the windows.
Yep.
The most miraculous part about this video is he did not get his butt kicked. And can I stop? I need to stop for a second. Chuck, do you have any better light? We can't see you, bro. That's better.
Here we go.
Thank you.
That's better? Okay.
So this is Jimbo Skiles. He was the park manager. And this is after, I think this is after most of the contest. We're hanging out. And
oh my golly, look at that. Oh my God. That was funny.
Looks like Bruce Walker there in the black shorts.
He probably kept a piece of everybody, probably.
Oh, jeez, that's bad news.
Yeah, I remember that. That car is very. I remember the car.
Right there.
I mean, that's me. Yeah, that's me. No doubt.
How in the world did we not murder this guy?
I think it was mainly.
We're all good kids. Look at you.
Whoa, I was all over
Wait. What was that, Chuck? Where was it?
I was all over him. Yeah, I was making fun of him and stuff, smacking him in the back of the head and stuff. But I never hit him or anything. No, I don't know. I think everybody just. Homer's right next to me. Yeah. Homer.
We were so little. I have no idea.
Yeah. I didn't have this.
He was bummed.
Oh, God. Look at the hair. Oh, Lord.
He
knew we were.
Looked like some lion or something. I'm sure it was very cool with all that hair.
Yeah. In Gainesville in the summer, Lord have mercy. That was a hot day. I remember it well.
Yeah, and you and Westy still have your helmets on.
I know, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah, I think we found out about it and ran out there real quick after him, I think I wanted to beat his ass, but I didn't. I held back, I guess.
I think it's a testimony to the skateboarders in general to not have torn him one, because it could have really escalated easily.
Yeah.
You're right. It could have gone to jail.
And listen, Jimbo calls him. Listen what Jimbo calls him.
No audio.
What did he say? Oh, that's great footage. That's great. Did Phil take this?
Drugs.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's him.
That was
Oh,
that was hilarious.
hell have no fury once a scrog scorned.
Yeah. So Tim, that was before Tim was big. That was it was like the next year everybody went nuts.
He carved the streets like a painter's dream. Chuck Lagana, skating supreme. Florida sun on his back so bright. Rolling thunder, breaking the night. Legend on wheels, carving his name. Sims East team brought him the fame. Combat soul with a heart of steel. Chuck's the man who keeps it real.
I was trying to figure out who you were in this picture, Chuck, but you highlighted yourself with an aura, so it was pretty easy to see.
With an aura.
Yeah, yeah. Those were the days,
So, George, can you tell us a little bit about the half pipe at Clearwater Skatepark?
No, I can't say anything that hasn't been said. It's pretty funny. You got Bob Bentley there in front of Chuck, and McCrannell's there on the left in the orange helmet. So yeah, Clearwater Skatepark, probably 7.5 foot, almost to vert, half pipe.
Yeah.
Probably 40 feet long. It was dreadful, lumpy, first generation. That was it wasn't fun, but it's what we had. And then we decided it was going to be so much better if we put a 4-foot vertical piece of plexiglass on either side to just make things that much gnarlier. And we had fun. Interesting piece right there. You can see on the plexiglass is a line. That was the line for the Wheeler contest, if I remember. And Scott McCrannell's won the Wheeler contest that year. And the yellow line that's on the half pipe, that was the line you had to cross for the cross country run. You had to go higher than that because you had to do two turns in there for the cross country run. Ah, yes.
Wow.
What a joy.
That's funny you mentioned that because we had to do so many different events. We had to be good in freestyle, slalom, cross country, bull riding, and vert.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of us did it too. We all did it back then. Now everybody individualizes in one certain part,
Yeah, look at this. This is fucking gnarly right here. People don't realize how gnarly this trick is. This is when we put 2.5 feet of vert, but it's got a rolled edge. It's got the rolled edge on it on this side. And it was hard to get to because you didn't have any place to get speed. So you did your first kick turn on the far wall, then you came in and hit this, and it was hard having that much speed. So this is gnarly getting up this high. I think you got some air on this too. I know I've got a picture of you grabbing some air.
Yeah, I did get air there. Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, truthfully, that's about around that time is when I first started doing frontside airs. That's the truth too. And a lot of people don't believe me.
What board is that?
Yeah.
What board is
that's a 10-0. It's a 10-0, I think.
Yeah, you can see you can see the numbers in the bottom right. Yeah, that's this 10-0 super ply. And what's that? Is that trackers?
Yeah, trackers. Yep. Trackers and 10-0. Green snakes.
Green snakes. Everyone loved the snakes. Everyone envied the Sims guys because they always got the green snakes. And then they got the white snakes after that. And that was the shit.
What kind of nose bone is that? What is that thing?
I have no idea where I got it from, but it kept my nose clean.
I think those are I think that was a surfboard thing. I think it started out with surfboards first.
Yep, it did. Actually, it did. You're right.
And
I don't know where I got it from. Maybe in the pro shop, Hunter gave it to me or something. I put it on.
You spent a little bit of time on those stickers, did you, Chuck?
Yeah, why not? What the hell? I had to, promo Sims.
That's
What the
right.
hell? They were free, right? They were free, so why not? And there's a Skates East there too. That's cool.
Yeah,
See the Skates East sticker there.
had to have those.
Yeah.
We were, and look, who's this over here, Phil?
That's Bear.
Bear with
That's Bear. Yeah, shooting.
Man.
Wow.
Which is a horrible shot to shoot. That's a horrible place to shoot from, but
yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
Bear didn't do a lot of his shots were good, but some of them were you kind of
wow.
So, Turning Point, and where is
it? That is actually at the Fort Lauderdale Solid Surf. It's when the Peanut Bowl pool, they had the contest in the pool there.
Yeah, that was fun.
Dan shredded that contest, man. Murray, he tore it up. But Kent and Scott had that down there. And we got to skate that too, actually. So I was playing in that while everybody was playing in the pool for a while. I figured, what the hell, why not? And I skated it at West Palm Beach Surf and Skate Expo too. But that was the Native Tan contest. And it was there, so I skated in it. It was fun.
So
but I tell you what,
it was like
tired quick.
What's that?
You got tired quick in it.
Yeah.
Tired you out quick.
There was only one line, right? I mean, you guys, George skated it too.
You skated. I skated about 10 runs in that, and I was fucking worked. So they would,
right? I know.
Did they move it? Yeah. So for a while they were moving it while people were skating. They would tilt it up, but then after a while they just left it, turned at an angle, then you just drop in. Woo, woo. That was fucking.
It was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
That was
definitely you got upside down in it, no doubt. You got upside down in it, and it was pretty gnarly. And when you came back up and kick turned, no matter what side you were on, whether your front side or back side, you went back down to get your carve going. And by the time you got back up top, after a couple of times, you're like worn. You're worn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough. It was fun, but it was tough. It was an experience anyway. But I don't think it lasts very long. I don't know.
And they make more than one of them.
It is a greenhouse now.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah, they chopped it in half and they put it upside down. And now it's a greenhouse. Yeah.
Great use for it. Yeah, why not? No. I wonder what they grow in it. The good stuff, probably.
Yeah.
Wow. My first picture in Skateboarder magazine.
That's right. I remember this.
Yeah, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, actually. Daryl Jones took it. I didn't even know the day he was there. I didn't even know who he was or what. And yeah, I got lucky, I guess.
Is this Skateboard City? Where is this at?
Skateboard Safari.
Yeah, Safari. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an old wood bane, 29-inch wood bane with I think tracker trucks and OJs.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fast. I don't know. It made a lot of noise. Those wheels made a lot of noise, but there's a little like hip that was like a little bit vert. What I used to do was just fly up the hip and put my hand down like a front side, I guess invert, and fly across the whole wall and slide. I just jumped and slid across it. It was basically like an aerial lip slide almost, except with my hand. It was pretty cool. It was fun. Rodney Jesse actually showed me how to do that. Yeah,
so that's a good thing. You were skating with guys. Rodney, was he from California or was he from Jacksonville?
He was originally from California, but he came with the Brewer team, Bob Jarvis, and he hooked up with Clyde Rogers and Charlie Gonzalez, and they went on like a little promo tour of South Florida, and it was like one of the best things we could have to come. It was actually before Mike Weed and Steve Shipp came down. It's like, wow.
Rodney Jesse he used to get a lot of props. He got, I remember he got a full interview in Skateboarder magazine, 10 pages, and then he just kind of faded away. But that guy ripped. He was strong.
Well, the Goldwing sticker's helping you, Chuck. I mean, that's giving you some air.
Uh-oh.
You see that?
It could be Goldwing.
I'm here. You hear me?
It's either Goldwing
I got it.
or is that Turning Point?
Wait,
he's got the tracker up front.
Trackers, Goldwing, and then OJ's.
OJ's, yep.
But it's a good point. You didn't even know the photographer was there. You're in South Florida, and you wind up somehow 1,000,000 in Skateboarder.
Hey,
I know, right?
Stylish picture. He's got tuck knee going on and everything. This guy's got the steez.
Thanks. It was fun.
So you sent me a lot of them, Chuck. We said this guy's name. And I don't know if I've got any of you in there, unfortunately, but this is Bob or Boober Bentley, right?
Yeah, that's Boober.
So that's Cadillac Concourse?
That's Cadillac, yep.
No flat bottom. 12 feet.
5 feet of vert, just because. More vert is gnarlier, right?
Oh, God. I think it was 4, but in different parts of the pool, I think it was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a gnarly pool, man. I tell you what, that thing, I had the best skateboarding rides I've ever had in my life in that pool. My best sessions ever was in that pool. No doubt. It was
that coping
took
looks
a lot of my
good.
skin too.
Looks like they set the coping perfect.
It was. You could 50-50 grind across practically the whole back end easily, or halfway around it easily. It was insane. And we should do it too. It was fun. Frank did a good job on that.
Wasn't it hard to ride like a half pipe? I mean, you either went straight in and came back out, or you kind of got going around and you had like 4 or 5 hits before you wound up being out anyway. You came out of the canyon because they had like a double drop.
Yeah. Well, it was almost like a half pipe. It had a few feet, of flat bottom, just a little bit, but it wore you out like any big pool would. It was so big, it tired you out. So the thing is when you skated that pool, when you did a trick, you had to pull it off. If you didn't pull it off, you were screwed. That's it. You're done.
It was going to hurt.
It was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
So we went down there. I got a fun story about that. We went down there and we skated for a weekend. We drove down there in my van, me and Edgar and my brother, and I think Steve Fisher. There was
Plum Ridge.
And the Plum Ridge, that's right. We skated there and we had a good session. And Edgar was ripping pretty good. He went up and did a face wall front side air.
Nice.
Went up to face wall, maybe a foot or so out, but which was pretty big at the time. When he was up in the air, his fucking rear truck fell off. Fell not partially, fell the fuck off, and he landed and rode it out and walked out of the pool and said, "I'm done. I'm not going to do it." It was
big scratch down the wall.
God. He was like, "Fuck that. I am done for the day." That was
He's lucky. He's lucky. I mean, he could have ate it really bad.
Oh,
and that's a bad
God. Yeah, just full commitment. Just, I'm landing this and riding it out. I don't know what happened, but I'm riding it out, and looks down, no truck.
I didn't know it was gone until I landed, and I'm looking at my feet because something's wrong. And I see the axle and the wheels kind of rolling beside me. Not supposed to see that. That's supposed to be underneath.
Bless your heart, man.
We all got out of that. We were happy that we went, and we were happy that we left.
Yes, we all walked away.
That's too bad you guys couldn't have stuck around more and session down there more. You would have liked it, actually. You would have enjoyed it eventually.
I skated there a handful of times, and skated there a couple of times with Gelfand and and Kevin
Anderson.
and
Kevin Peterson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But that was gnarly. And did they ever have any contests there? Do you know?
Yes, there's a lot of say about that. Some of it, I don't, I just know I was in a contest there. Apparently there was two, from what I'm hearing now. One I did not attend. One I did attend, and I won one contest there. And I remember it because what happened was I did a perfect routine. I did not fall. I pulled off everything. And I remember the same routine, and I did it to that song, We Will Rock You.
Nice.
And Paul McCartney, who worked at the park, also was one of the judges, and he was sitting on the hip where Rick Furness sits and judges all the time. But I don't think Rick judged that contest. I think he was in it. But I came up to do a front side grinder air on that one. And what happened was my back wheels came out above the coping, and my board slammed against the coping, and I yanked it back in and pulled it off. And the only reason why I did that was because Dan and I, before that, were practicing disasters in the shallow end.
Yep.
And so it wasn't a big deal. It was like me, Alan, Boober, Dan. There were so many, and I think Dan won one of the contests too. There, I believe Dan won one. So that's all I remember. Things are foggy. A lot of years, and I hear a lot of different things, so I just let it go because I don't really, it's like it is what it is. It was fun. That's all that matters.
We all had fun, and we all walked away. Yeah.
That's it, man. If you say you won the final, okay, it's cool with me. I got my money anyway. It was $200.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was big back then.
Yeah, right. I know it was, right? So, and but there was a certain group that tore that pool apart, and I can name every one of them. And we were just one group that were there all the time. We just were there all the time, and all we did was skate it, just like any other local would in any other local park.
Guys,
I couldn't have came to your park and shredded it like you shredded it. You know what I'm saying? It's just where you lived, you owned it. You know what I'm saying?
We're local.
Yeah.
So that's what it got to be like, and that was a tough place for anybody to come into and own it.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was a hard pool. So, but Dan shredded it, Alan shredded it, Boober shredded it, Chris shredded it, Fulmer shredded it. We Crannel, everybody that really spent a lot of time there. We had a blast. It was a fun session in there. It was just a blast.
I'm still amazed that anybody got good while skating with Fulmer, because nobody got rides if Mike was riding. He didn't stand in line. He was He would go, and then he would let you go as he stood there. Okay, next up, you got it, and then he'd go. He's awesome fun.
Yeah, I've known Mike since he was 12 years old. We used to fish together at Lake Worth Pier before we even skateboarded, and we surfed together too. So I knew his mom and his dad and his sister and his brothers. And so we lived in the same neighborhood before I even skateboarded in 1973. So I've known him that long. You know, to be honest with you, when he broke his leg, I was so afraid that he wasn't going to be able to come back from it, but he got right back up and he blasted it after that. Just totally blasted it. I was so proud of him for that.
Interesting piece about his broken leg. From
Brunswick.
When he broke it at the half pipe in Brunswick. So from the day he broke it, 1 year later, he was on the cover of Skateboarder magazine.
Yeah,
remember
that's right.
Frontside ollie at Lakewood. That was 1 year after he broke his fucking femur. God.
You should have heard it.
No. Oh, God.
It was insane. I mean, I was so scared for him because I've known him all my life, you know, and he's like a brother to me and a little brother to me. And I was like, I was in tears. I heard it pop. It just went pop. His front foot came off the board when he was doing a backside air, and his front foot slipped off the board, and he did a split on the transition of the half pipe. And it was the gnarliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some pretty bad stuff. Well, I saw a guy blow half his face off with a grenade once, but
so
that was gnarlier. Yeah.
Tell me about the picture on the screen. I'm changing the subject.
Oh, that's Joe St. Angelo.
Joe St. Angelo. Mr. Smooth.
Yeah, I think he's doing a freestyle demo in the parking lot of Fox when Fox moved on Forest Hill Boulevard. They were doing a demo out there.
He carved the streets like a painter's dream. Chuck Lagana, skating supreme. Fluorescent on his back so bright. Rolling thunder, breaking the night. Legend on wheels, carving his name. Simsy's team brought him the fame. Combat soul with the heart of steel. Chuck's the man who keeps it real.
The pinball machine is what you're talking about, right?
Oh yeah, that was fun at the expo.
Where the heck is that?
I mean, who thought of that? That was like score points by wrecking. That thing was so slippery. Oh Lord.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Yeah, it slid all over the place. I mean, you had to learn how to do a cess slide so you wouldn't wreck. You know? Yeah, no doubt. It was fun, though. You know what the fun part was at the expos, you got to skate in front of all those people. And there were a lot of chicks there, so me and Fulmer had a lot of fun. Actually, Gary Proper got us a dressing room during those expos. Me, Scott, and Fulmer had our own dressing room in the auditorium. So we bring chicks back in the dressing room. It was cool. Yeah, it was fun.
Fulmer did okay. I went on the road with him a couple of times. He did pretty good for himself. He had that long hair.
Yeah, that hair in it. He did good. Yeah, he did.
Those girls just love them some little Mikey. Yeah, that was.
We used to pick up on his overage. We used to joke about, you know, let's pick up on Mike's overage. There's got to be some strays around here somewhere.
Well, you know,
that's bad, but it was fun. We were kids, you know. We were kids, so that's what you did, you know. Yeah, the girls didn't complain.
What do we got, Ed?
I don't know. I'm lost again. I'm trying to.
I've been lost for years, man. I don't feel bad.
Navy warrior with balance to spare. Kickflips flying through the air. Taking hand the world to explore.
So Chuck, when did you start on the Sims East team? Was that the team you were on?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I went from Inland Surf Shop
Why?
to in 1974, 73, 74, 74, Inland Surf Shop, 74. I moved back down to South Florida and skated for Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Nomad, Fox,
Nomad, yeah.
and then Sims. Yeah.
So
and then,
who else was on Nomad?
1977, late 76, 77, I think.
So
Yeah.
Nomad was where like it all started. That was like the first bunch of heavy hitters. And then they all migrated over to Fox and then Sims. I mean, you guys were, there was a lot of the same names that were doing all of that, right?
Yes. Actually, what happened was Hunter, are you there? Now, Hunter took, Hunter, myself, Mike, and Scott McReynolds went on a trip up the East Coast in Hunter's van.
Yeah, that's right. His man.
At that time, we were sponsored by Nomad, all of us, and helped us out. And we skated. We went to Mount Trashmore. We went to Maryland. We went to South. We skated a lot of wizard parks and stuff. And everywhere we went, it was so hard to ride. The park sucked so bad. Everywhere we went, it was really tough. But wherever we showed up, we put on a good show. So Hunter loved it, taking us everywhere back then. So that was, and we weren't even skating for Sims yet. It was just me, Hunter, Scott McReynolds, and Mike Fulmer.
You guys were so far ahead of the game and travel and quest for sponsorship. I think
exactly. Yeah, you're
really
right.
Was a cleaner effort. Marinac did all that. It seemed like the down south guys had more of it, more of an organized push than the rest of us people. So
we had some parents behind us too. Yeah.
So this is Rainbow Wave, right, Chuck?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
it is.
Yes, it is. On the coping.
Yeah, I remember that he put that there. That was pretty cool, actually.
It was a weird half pipe.
It was. Actually, that was a weird contest. I don't think I skated for Sims anymore. I think I stopped skating for Sims and I left Sims. And,
that's right. You're on a crypto board there. Holy crap. I didn't even notice.
Wearing a Skateboarder magazine shirt. Yeah.
So Fulmer showed up at this. This is when Fulmer was still in his cast.
Yep. He had his cast. He was judging.
Yeah, he was judging, and he went out and he went out in my van and had a little break in the van. I remember that. She took care of things. Took mercy on Mikey. I'm sure he wasn't getting much action after that. I remember that.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
I got a question. Wasn't there a contest before this one? A year before this?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There was two Rainbow Wave contests.
That when I was skating for Sims, the first one.
Yeah.
78.
Rodney Mullen showed up, right? And he walked up to me. He was still skating for Inland. And he came up to me and pulled my shirt and said, "Hey, are you Chuck Lagana?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Hi, Rodney." He says, "Yeah." He says, "Man," he says, I want to skate for Sims." And I looked at him and I said, "Absolutely, you could skate for us. Let me go get Hunter." By the time I went to go get Hunter and come back to Rodney, Bruce Walker had already grabbed him. That's a fact.
Oh,
I don't know if Rodney remembers it, but I remember it very well because I knew how popular Rodney got and how good he got. And I thought, oh my God, did we lose out big because I had to leave and go get Hunter? Bruce was right, man.
That's true. It didn't matter. He had his own. He had his own companies. So.
Yep, he did well. He did well, and I'm proud of him either way. It's awesome.
Doing real good.
Very good.
That's funny. That's some history there.
Yeah, it is. Little story there. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Funny. There's some history here.
Who's all this?
Oh, I walked into a skate park one day, and these guys were all there.
So we got
Of all the people to be there, right? Yeah.
Steve Olson, Mitch Kaufman, Jimmy Plumer, and Chuck Lagana at Kona.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Showed up at Kona and walked in, and they're all like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus God. What a motley crew." I said, "I guess we got to take a picture." Yeah, sure. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It's fun hanging with them guys. I hung out with them quite a bit. Actually went to dinner with them too and everything like that. And I tell you what, when you get Olson and Hackett together, man, forget about it. It's just nuts. Me and Hunter.
Those guys
can
tell some story. Frickin' Olson.
Lord.
Both of them are some of the best storytellers on the planet.
You're not kidding, man. There's something, man.
Olson is so understated, and Hackett is so over the top, and they just fucking fantastic. And half of it's true, half of it's not, but it's a fucking great story. Actually, the crazy part is
your ass off. That's for sure. It's
the
funny.
crazy part is a lot of it is true. You're like, fuck, who would make this shit up?
When Plumer would get involved too. And then it'd just really go off the rails,
Yeah, and then there's the whole wildness of Plumer. Yeah, that was amazing times. Olson's
we did
fun guys.
We did a show with George.
Go ahead.
Was George and who was with George when we did the Plumer episode?
George Wilson.
George Wilson and Mitch. So
I
learned more about Plumer. Plumer was insane.
He was off the rails, man. He that guy. I remember from Gainesville. Okay, so when I was in Gainesville, because I used to go to Jacksonville from Gainesville to go surfing. So I because I remember Jimmy Odom introduced me to him. Jimmy Odom introduced me to him first time I ever met him. And then I thought, oh my God, this guy's a Z-boy. I'm like, holy shit, man, like that's cool, I was freaking out over it, but Jimmy, I got to know him
a long time ago, didn't he?
Yeah. It was a while ago.
I met Jimmy Plumer at Tampa Skate Wave.
Oh, geez.
You want to talk about a long time ago, Tampa Skate Wave. That was such a dreadful park.
Yeah.
But always remember meeting him there. I think we may have been on precision bearings by then. But he was remember me. I was like, fuck, that was a Z-boy. What the fuck?
You there? Oh boy.
Yeah, this is more recent.
Okay. Yeah. Ollie board in that tornado.
Did you ever ride one of the original tornadoes? It had a nose about this. He had the shortest fucking nose on that board. Everyone was going snub nose.
Never got to ride it, but that was signed at the 30-year reunion in 2017, I think 2007, by everybody there, even you. You signed it.
Yeah.
That's quite a board.
Yeah. That was gorgeous. That was fun. Fulmer had some cool graphics.
Yeah, he did. Oh, that's Pat and Alex Sargente. Yeah.
And who's the Grom?
I think that I'm not sure. I don't remember his name, but he skated. I was almost thinking it was Keith Ballastores, but no, it's not him. It's not Keith. But I think he skated for Grind for Life then, or something like that. Mike Rogers.
That's how big Alex was when I first met him.
Right? Yeah.
Is that Reef? Is that Reef?
It might be.
Yeah. I mean, that's an older shot, but
yeah, I think that's like 2019. I think, but just before COVID or something. 2017, I think maybe.
Yeah,
that's a Grind for Life contest.
Either that or it was at the Surf Van and Skate Expo in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had a
Florida
museum. It's where the Surfing Florida Museum was at, and they did have a contest there though. Mike had a ramp contest there, a half pipe. So yeah, it was fun.
All right.
And it's good seeing Pat.
I am lost. Again.
We sponsored Alex.
And
I love this. Chuck fighting town council. Now, you guys don't know this, but Chuck Lagana is a Frank Sinatra impersonator from the Carnival Cruise Lines.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows that.
Telling you what, he almost broke into the song. If you watch this video, the mayor or the town director is like giving her his phone number or something. You know? He's up there advocating for skate parks. So you can dress him up a little bit.
Hey, nice.
And this here's the only known picture of Chuck with his mouth closed. He's with Adam Sandler here.
Yep.
What movie was this?
The Water Boy.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
So how did that work out? Was that filmed down south, or were you? How did you get put into that?
I lived in Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral for about 15 years, and someone told me I was doing some modeling work for I don't know if it was Bruce Walker's ex-wife or her. She got me an agent because there was a casting call for some people, and I said, "What the hell? I'll go for it. I'll shoot for being an extra, right?" So I did that, and Jim Vickers, I met him. He's a stunt coordinator, and I met him, and I told him my background in the military, and he asked me if I was interested in doing any stunt work. So I said, absolutely. So I worked on Armageddon first, the movie Armageddon first, and then they kept using my headshot, and I got lucky, and they called me in to Disney to do the Water Boy, and they said that they wanted to pick me to be a Water Boy Mud Dog player, and I said, absolutely, I'll do it.
Fuck yeah.
I did it, and I got lucky, and I got featured. So I got lucky, actually. Just luck, all luck, you know. But what the hell, you know?
Awesome.
At least I made the big screen, right?
That is great.
It was cool.
Now, what?
Oh, that's in the Navy.
You're a SEAL?
No, I'm a SWIC, a boat guy, dirty boat guy. We're trained by SEALs, but we work with high speed boats. We do hot insertions and extractions, and we work on high speed boats, HSBs, ribs, stuff like that. A lot of people got that confused because back in the 90s, it was considered the Navy's best kept secret, so you weren't allowed to tell anybody what the hell you did. And so everybody used to see you in UDTs and stuff like that and doing crazy stuff. So they all used to think you were SEAL, and I just support.
Well, I got to hand it to you for saying, you know, and not leading people to think that you're a SEAL. That's a lot
of people did.
That's stolen valor. No, don't want to get involved in that.
No.
Yeah, I've been accused of it actually, but that didn't work out for the person who accused me at all. So, but yes, we did a lot of crazy shit, and we were trained by SEALs. And I originally went in to go to Buds, and I got injured. And so when I got injured, my billet officer told me, he says, you want to go back to full active duty? I said, absolutely. I said, I don't want to go back to civilian life, man. I've been trained already, and half went through training. So he said, I'm going to send you the next best thing. And I said, what's that? He said, well, it's called a special boat unit. I was like, what is that? And he told me, he says, you support Navy SEALs, you take them in, pick them up, take them back. He says, it's all top secret work. And he says, it's a big thing now, and it's going to get bigger. So I said, you said you're in on the ground floor. And this was in 1990. So I was 29 years old, 30 years old. So I said, screw it, let's do it. And I went in. And it turned out to be one of the best things I ever did. I loved it. I had so much fun, you know, and a lot of crazy stuff. You know, you had to swim a lot. You know, eventually went to jump school. and you went through all these different schools. I was a combat med tech. I wanted to go through that training and photo intel training and all this different stuff that they trained me to do. And it paid off really well. But in 1995, I guess it was, or 94, I broke my spine in 3 places. And I wound up having to get discharged honorably, but medically. So I got an honorable medical discharge with a disability, and I went to college. So the rest is history. Yeah, but I love being in the boat units. I'm a member of the Combat Craft Crewmen's Association, so it was good.
Yeah, I spent 7 years active duty Air Force, and it was I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was great.
I saw that. I'm impressed, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time, and I would have stayed in forever, but they didn't want to make me an officer, so I told them I'm going to go do other stuff. I finished my degree when I was active duty, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to OCS, and they didn't want to give me the job I wanted, and I said, nope, I'm going to go do something else now. I don't know what. It's not going to be running a security police squadron.
Yeah, you definitely. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you definitely want to move up to be an officer or a warrant officer, when you get out, especially if you spend a lot of time in it. You don't want to get out as enlisted income because your pension's not good enough, You're right. Yeah. It's exactly right. They paid.
Who are we looking at here?
Well,
what's that?
Is Hall of Fame in Tampa.
Where was this? Because George is in there. I'm in there.
This is Tampa.
Bruce Walker's in there. Tampa.
This is Spot. Yeah.
Tampa. That's 2007, I think, or 6.
I think I was. I think you and I were 2007.
That's right. Yeah, you and I were 2000. So it was 2008 or 9. This is when Chris got inducted.
Well, who's carrying Mike McGill? What is going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening there.
I mean, there's Chuck Dinkins, Marty, Mark Bockham.
There's Bruce. So Bruce is near him, but not carrying him. I don't know who's carrying him.
And Dambo. That is the weirdest thing.
Looks like Kaufman, maybe. Is that Kaufman?
Is it Mitch? Might be.
Mitch? Might be Mitch.
I don't know. I know him and Bob. Bob were at one of those. Bob Biniak.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was before Bob left us.
Yeah. That's not something Bob would do.
No, probably not.
Oh, look at this. How about these? Look at these hot rods. Okay.
That's 2007 at Kona.
Well, name them off. So for history, here on the right at Hunter.
That's Lloyd Gillick, Christian Asoy, a guy named Chuck Lagana, Mike Fulmer, and Hunter Jocelyn.
Hunter Jocelyn, the mouth of the South. So what you want to look at is take a look at Hosoi. He doesn't have a bit of ink on him right there. And now he is covered. He is all fully sleeved out, neck tattoos and everything. Funny, it's just bang. It just happened.
Hunter
right. Yeah. I never thought of
that.
Wow.
Lloyd's the one that's, I mean, he's done enough for skating to be in the picture, but he's the one that's kind of weird being with these four.
Who's that, Lloyd?
Yeah, Lloyd Gillick. And you got a nice shirt there. I like your shirt.
Got the boards.
Thank you. Yes.
B.
It's a collector's item now.
Is it?
Well, sure. You can't get one. They don't make those anymore.
This is a tough crew right here. That's some.
That's the first time that we got together in like 40 years, I think. That was in 2006. It was the year that Ed, that we got inducted.
Okay.
It was the year that and Dan Murray met up with us that day. And that's the day that Will Cox, we met in Palm Beach Gardens, and Will Cox was skating. He did a Texas foot plant in Palm Beach Gardens off of a little vert piece. And when he came back down, his face went right into the bottom of the deck, and he had to get rushed to the hospital.
I remember that.
Yep.
I've seen him slam on
these
so
people
many.
from left to right. Who's who?
That's Tab Texter, and Chris West, Joe San Angelo, and me, myself.
All right,
And yeah, and Tab actually, his mother owned Skateboard Safari, and his little brother John first skated for us, and eventually I think he started skating for Sims too. So after I left,
and Tab is still ripping. Tab's still.
Oh yeah, he always seems like he's going to fall right off the board though. Every time he's got. I'll tell you what, though, he surfs big waves very well.
Yeah, he's a ripper on the surfboard. He's still doing pro stuff.
Oh yeah, I seen him surf Reef Road it like 15 foot, like it was nothing. Like nothing. I got pictures of him surfing it too. So I should have put him in there. But yeah, he could shred. But that's I mean, those kids are rich. Both John and him are rich, man. I mean, John owns what is it called? Digital Domain and a soccer team and everything.
He owns a soccer team.
Effects.
I didn't know that. I'm like, fucking A.
Yeah, they're loaded, man. They're part of the DuPont family.
Well,
yeah.
Good on them. It's good.
That's where the Skateboard Safari came from.
Yeah, choose your parents wisely.
Well, I liked how Skateboard Safari was managed. I thought Texter's mom ran that place nice because that was a lot of fun there.
She was a good woman. She took a lot of us to skateboard contests too, even after Hunter couldn't. She would help us out an awful lot. She took a lot of the kids to contests and helped us out a lot. Actually, she even fed me when I was hurting pretty bad. You know, there were some bad times there back then. Yeah. So she did a lot of good for me. God bless her.
That's wonderful.
This is Dan Murray and you in this picture here.
Oh yeah, those are happy days there. I love Dan. He's awesome, man. We've been skating together for years.
I always liked skating with Dan because I could steal his lines. If he knew the park better than me, I could steal his lines because we had the same style, the same body, and we were both regular foot. So I'd be like, "Oh, what's Dan doing? Okay, I got that line, no problem."
Yep.
We did a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same tricks.
Yeah, he's a good man. I love skating with him. Even freestyle, he's still doing freestyle now, playing around. Yep.
Well, Dan told us that he was in that Burger King commercial and he got paid royalties. Did you get royalties from your movie career?
No royalties, but I got paid pretty good money. Good. Yeah, not bad. I got paid like I made about $5,000 off of Border Boy.
All right.
And I did Instinct with Anthony Hopkins. I made about another $5,000 there, $5 or $6,000 there. So it was only a short period of time too. So I did it in like less than a month. So that's not bad for a month's worth of work.
That's good. So who's in this lineup here?
Okay, you got Dan Murray, Chris West. I think that's myself with the red shorts, and you got Will Cox. I think that's Mike Fulmer and
that's Fulmer. Yeah.
And I guess everybody's wearing Fox shirts because I guess we all skated for Fox one time or another. That's when John Pardon was inducted.
Right.
Kona. The heat wave.
Kona.
That was when we almost all stroked out.
Right.
So hot.
Wait. I got something for this one. You remember when Guy Hoffman proposed to his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Was that day?
That was that day. I took Guy to go get flowers. Guy was in the party. He's like, "Dude, can you give me a ride? Can you give me a ride up to the flower shop?" I'm like, "Okay, sure, bro." And they told me what's going on. I'm like, "Fucking A, that's right. I got engaged at the freaking ceremony."
That's funny. He forgot I didn't have the ring. He gave the ring to somebody else, and he kept asking me for the ring, and I said, "I don't have the ring."
Oh, shit.
So this is the peanut pool?
The peanut bowl, yeah. That's the same day as the turning point ramp.
I got you. Is this Carlsbad?
That's Carlsbad. That's Tom Sims.
That's
Yeah,
Tom
Carlsbad.
Sims. He used to ride those 5-foot skateboards like a fucking
God rest his soul.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
There you go. Yeah. You were saying something about that earlier.
Fucking gnarly as hell. God.
I don't like I don't have my hand tucked behind my knee though.
Yeah, it's not tuck knee, but that is so freaking gnarly.
It was a bumpy spot, that's for sure.
And it was clearly a make. That's the thing. There's so much of that shit back then where people were taking photographs of bales. Like, nope, that's a solid make right there.
Yeah. Oh, I made it. Yeah, I remember that.
This is the pool at Sensation Basin.
Yep.
Before the COVID.
Yeah.
And I made that too. Barely. Oh, that's Kona.
With those nasty Rector pads, the suede pads that came off.
Wow.
If you looked at them wrong.
Oh, man, that was so hot that day. Joe Santangelo again. That's that same, well, I think that's the same parking lot. Yeah. He's doing, I don't know what he's doing, either 360s or kickflip or spacewalk. I don't know. There's Jimmy Odom.
In the middle, Jimmy Odom, right.
Jeff Walsh.
Yep. And wait, who's that? They're on next to Jimmy on the other side? Is that
That's Jeff Walsh, I think.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
Might be. I don't know who this is.
Jimmy and I skated together a lot when I was in Gainesville, but we were pretty close there for a little while.
He was a great guy.
He was a great skater. He had some style to him. He was.
Yeah, he did. My dad loved him. My dad loved him having him over and stuff when he came over. You know, we go back. We go way back. 74, I think. 75, I think. Yeah, we go back. Oh boy!
Look at those studs.
Look how little Kelly
Petty.
is.
Looks like Sean Petty in there.
Yeah, that's Sean Petty and
Kelly Lynn.
Yeah, Kelly Lynn. Yeah, Kelly. And who is the guy? God, I can't tell who that is. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. The guy here with the red hat, that's Froggy. They call him Froggy. He was from West Palm Beach, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's
good. I thought that might be West Aho, but it's not.
Comeback crew taught him the fight. Skatepark battles live the night. Every alley, every slide. Chuck's the hero the streets can hide.
No.
maybe.
Hey, I got to punch out, guys.
Thanks for coming,
George. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Super,
Thank you, George.
you
Good
made
to see
it.
you.
I wish I didn't have to leave, but I got a boogie.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
Peace.
See you later, brother.
Like, Frank Nasworthy there.
Yeah, Frank and that's Paul McCartney too. He lives in California now. Paul, we talk once in a while.
So that's who Goodrich hung out with.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
I didn't know who he was talking about all these years. So
we used to sleep in his apartment. He rented one room from a lady in a house, and me and Chris would stay the night in the one room and sleep on the floor just so we could skate Cadillac. It was insane.
And that's Frank, right?
What's that?
Right.
That's Frank Nasworthy.
Nasworthy. He built
Nasworthy,
Cadillac.
yep.
And this is pictures in Sensation Basin, I believe.
Yeah, I do believe it is. Yeah.
So there.
Oh boy. Look at all the people. That was so much fun. It's too bad
this?
that it was called a pinball ramp. And it was made of like plastic or like fiberglass or something. It was so slippery. But we skated it. It was for the West Palm Beach Surf Band and Skateboard Expo.
All right.
Yeah, I think it wound up being out at some big drug dealer's mansion in the Everglades, and some people went out there and skated it, and they got busted by the guy, and he goes, "No, go skate." Yes, sir. Don't kill me, please. What
Gary
is
Crawford
this?
used to set that up.
Where is this? Is this Kona?
No, that's West Palm Beach. That's Skateboard Safari.
I looked at this picture. I was like, "Where the hell is this?"
That's
Looks
actually
like you got a hurricane coming too.
Yeah.
It was called the Cone Bowl. It was called the Cone Bowl because it's a tight little bowl in there. But I hardly ever skated in that little cone bowl. It was pretty bumpy.
Definitely a Gen 1 park. You know, when you see just
Yeah, definitely
big,
genuine. Yeah.
yeah, it's just definitely. I was more interested in this one because I was like, I haven't seen this before. You know,
Yeah.
it was
What year was that? Now that's 76, you think, or 77?
76, 77, yeah. It was
Yeah.
actually one of the first parks right after Carlsbad. It popped up. And the one park in Port Orange, I think.
Yeah, Skateboard City.
Yep. Yeah. They were like one of the first three or something like that. I was
Chuck,
stoked. I couldn't believe
Chuck,
it.
you want to sing your song?
What song was that?
We'll never hear it though. Anyhow, we got a song for you. This is the
You do.
lyrics to it.
So we'll send it to you.
I sent it to you.
I
If you
can't
will-
see it good enough
I
now.
don't know if you'll be able to listen to it now. Let me see. Can you hear anything?
No,
No?
this technology's not going to cut it.
Good.
This
Is
song's
it a
too
rock
long.
song or-
It's too long anyhow.
It's an
Go ahead,
AI
enjoy it.
thing.
An AI thing? Okay. Well, send it to me. I'll chime back in and sing it for
I
you.
did. I sent it to you.
All
You
right.
got it. It's on
It's-
email.
Combat crew
Okay.
taught him the fight. Skate park battles lit the night.
Oh, wow. I like
I
that.
know. You're going to have an ego fucking party over there. Because just check this out. I just got a text with a picture of him skating of Jim McCall. I haven't talked to him in, 30 years.
Of who's skating with Jim McCall?
Jim sent me the picture of him.
Really?
Yeah, he's doing an aerial or a lip. I don't know what he's doing.
That's awesome.
He texted me that. We got to get him on the show.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you should. He's a little bit of he's kind of a little recluse, but I could talk to Tim Ebaugh and maybe get him to get on.
Well, we're worried about Tim. He just had
Yeah, I
another
know.
stroke
I know.
or something.
Another one. Yeah, I know. It's too bad. He calls me every once in a while, Tim does. And I just saw that yesterday about the stroke, another one.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
This will make Jim participate in one of these with Paul Patella and Tim. That they were the crew, right? The three guys.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to Tim about doing a show, but it's like we got to have a little bit more, and Jim would be the more, that would
Absolutely.
make the episode compelling. You've got the Sims story, and why don't you tell us your version of how you got on the phone with Tom Sims, and then we'll sign off. How did this work out?
All right. Okay. And this is going to be interesting. I know a lot of people have heard different versions, and it's interesting how it happened. I do have Joe San Angelo who swears by it, and a couple other people. The girl that I live with right now, my wife now, she worked in Forum 3 building for a real estate, big, very wealthy real estate firm. And we were dating and seeing each other. And she actually took me, Joe, Danny Billard, and Chris and Mike to a few contests over on the West Coast of Fort Myers and down that area.
Naples.
And we won. We actually won first place. We cleaned up house. We came home with a bunch of trophies. So our heads were a little big. But one day we were at Chris West's house. And I was still dating Sheila at the time. And I called her at her office, and she said, "Hey, listen, I got an idea." I said, "What's that?" She says, "If you could call anybody in the world, who would you call?" And I said, "Well, Tom Sims, he's God." That's exactly what I said. And she says, "Well," she says, I got what's called the Watts line. She can call anywhere in the world she wants, and it's free." Because we couldn't make a long distance phone call from Chris's house. I mean, we were kids, and his mother would have had a fit. So,
wait, hold on. For our listeners, it's now 2025. But when we were kids, and somebody would call our dad or mom, never mom, it was always pop, and they would say long distance calling for Al Womble, and I'd go run into the house. My God, it's long distance. My God, it's long distance. Now, of course, everybody has it on their phones, but at the time, it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Exactly. Yep. So we called Tom Sims. She called Tom Sims, and she got Tom Sims' father on the phone. And
right to the top. Right to the top.
She spoke to him right away and said, "I got a bunch of kids here who are winning a lot of contests." And she says, "And they really need a sponsor, and you're missing a market share here." I mean, that's how smart she is. She's very, very smart. That's exactly what she said. So apparently she talked to him for a few minutes, and then she said, "Here, Chris, you need to give him your address so he can send you some stuff." And Chris got on the phone and talked to Mr. Sims for a little while, and I don't even know if he even talked to Tom. But I know I was standing there, and Joe was standing there freaking out. We're like, "Oh my God, he's talking to Tom Sims or Tom Sims' father." And Chris gave him the address and the phone number, and he said, "Tom Sims is sending us a bunch of stuff." So we had no idea what was coming. And about a week later at Skateboard Safari, Chris shows up with a bunch of boxes. And there's jerseys in it, decks, wheels, trucks, you name it, with letters saying that we're happy to sponsor you. If there's anything else you need, let us know. Had his phone number and everything. And that was it. Well, Hunter came in the office because he was head of the pro shop at the time and saw that and said, "Hey, you guys need a manager." And that's how it started. And you know what? The hard part was having to carry that burden and be good after that. That was the hardest part. So that's what happened. That's what I'm saying happened.
Well, you got sponsored a different way than I did. I was sitting in my dad's van getting baked in front of Rainbow Wave, and Phil and Tony Romano knocked on the window, and I thought, that's it. I'm arrested. I'm busted. And I turned the window down, and like half of everything just billows out the window. And that's when Tony asked me to ride for the Basin the next day. I was like, sure, okay, that's awesome. But that's nice. Thing, that's a big deal. Again, it's a reach in an era when there wasn't anybody. You guys not only were good, but you had all the killer shit.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful era. I may interject here a little bit, because you faced the rest of us. Everybody had grown up in caves all their life, and as kids they would run up the side of the wall in a cave or whatever. But finally, a generation shows up where you could ride it on wheels on a board up in the cave, and you guys were the foremost people of history to be able to do that. And it's just a fabulous era.
Yeah. It was an honor, actually. I'm glad we were able to do that. The hardest part was having to leave John Part at Fox, because we were all skating for Fox at the time, and we had to tell him that we were going to skate for Sims from now on. That was really cool. Because I love John.
Everything was fast back then. Boom, boom, boom. It was
You're
exciting.
Exactly right. We didn't know what we were doing. We just followed along. But
obviously, we still don't know what we're doing. But
you're right. Bless your heart, Phil, man. You're right there. So it's a day at a time, and God's willing. That's all we got to do is the best we can.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, Chuck. We should do this more often and get on
anytime,
get some more pictures and stuff.
Sure. Anytime, man. You guys want me anytime, I'm here. Let me know. Hit me up. You got any questions? I'm here for you anytime. I like you guys. I love you guys, man.
Maybe you could be a guest with some of our other guests and be one of our hosts.
Absolutely.
All that good stuff. Fun.
I'm willing.
We'll see what
anytime,
happens.
bro.
If I can ever learn how to operate the equipment, then we'll really be onto something, you know.
Hey, maybe someday I'll get a computer.
Well, at least you'll be able to watch it in a couple of weeks or whenever we get it digested. But let me hang on for a minute. So, hey, I want to thank everybody around the world. We have a lot of followers in Australia and South America, and we'd like you to look at the comments for Chuck's episode and all of our episodes, and tell us where you're watching from, because that gives us fuel. We're not making any money. We don't have a zillion viewers, but when we see you guys are enjoying what we're doing, picking up what we're laying down, however you want to say it, it really gives us the energy to keep doing it, because we're trying to record the golden era of skateboarding. It was the difference between clay and loose ball bearings, and what Del Mar Skate Ranch turned out to be is just amazing. If you were out of skating for a week, you came back, you didn't know anything about what they were doing, all the work, all the tricks that were being invented simultaneously all over the place. So for us, it's real. It's not made up shit. We're not talking about stuff we heard about or read about. We lived it, and we enjoy sharing it with you. So, Chuck, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate everybody. George McClellan out in San Luis Obispo is probably gone skating. I don't know what he's gone to do. And of course, Phil, the master of all that is technologically inclined. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching the Skateboarding Bros Show.
You're watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. Stories from the pioneers of skateboarding about the history and the fun of the sport we love.